like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network. In the preseason.
Number two,
guess who's going to the Super Bowl? That's right, you heard it here first. The New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston and company will be in Arizona at the Super Bowl, and not just attending, but will be in Arizona at the Super Bowl, and not just attending, but actually playing in it. Because guess why? Michael Thomas is back at full strength. And so is his quarterback, Jameis Winston. And the rest of those New Orleans Saints. Hey, who that? That's all I can tell you.
Number one.
And sitting at number one is Justin Fields, quarterback of the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields for the preseason, but that ain't what I'm looking for. I'm looking for football, understanding what the defense is doing to you, taking advantage of the defense. He looked like an NFL season. The light switch in this particular game turned on, and I don't think it'll ever go off.
Harry, what you think about Key's observations?
I'll start with the Saints one. I think the Saints are going to be a lot better than a lot of people think. Watching Jameis Winston and the snaps that he was out there, I thought he looked good in the pocket. Now, he wasn't out there for many, but I actually thought he looked really, really good. We actually seen them run the same play that the Miami Dolphins ran, the same play of the first play of the game, where you had a deep post and an over. Chris Olave understanding where to go in zones and sat right down, and Jameis did a great job of hitting them. And then he had another play to Jarvis Landry on a deep out route, but held him up a little bit so he didn't go out there to coverage and take a big hit. I just love what I see. Then he hit Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield. I just think with the weapons that Jameis has this season, he has an opportunity to throw for over 4,000 yards, and I think well over it. And a numerous of touchdowns. We've seen what he was last year before he got hurt and how he led this team and how the New Orleans Saints basically were decimated at that quarterback position when he was not playing. And I think last year that was the only really void was the quarterback position. Do I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl and make it? I can't sit up here and say that. Y'all want me to get?
Well, I'm going to say it. I said it. But listen,
say it. That's well,
I know, Key. I know. And you've been to your nephew. You tell your nephew he better get that damn hamstring right. Get that hamstring right. I know.
Fine. Don't listen to reports.
Don't jump on me. Don't jump on me, Key. I'm just a messenger.
I'm not going to jump on you. I'm just saying his hamstring is fine.
Listen, I like your nephew. I like him.
Oh yeah, no, he all right. He's straight. You know how it is. You get a little sore because you working yourself and you hadn't worked yourself in a minute, so you get back in a real game shape. So you get a little tired, and so you rest them up a little bit, and then they say, "Well, what's wrong?" He said, "A little hamstring," and then the media runs with it and make it seem as though he's missing the first 10 games of the year because he's got a little stiffness and a little sore that he got to get rubbed out. It's all right. We all good, man.
And I know a lot of people are picking Tampa to take over things in the NFC. Some people are in the NFC South, but you got to remember, Tampa has lost 4 of the last 5 games to the New Orleans Saints, and they have their number. In those 4 games, regular season games, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have given up 13 sacks, and the New Orleans Saints have found a way to get to Tom Brady and fluster him and frustrate him. Plus, you have secondary guys that can match up with the skill position players. Marshawn Lattimore, a lot of the times have been matched up with Mike Evans and gotten the best of that matchup. So I think when you look at those two teams, I give, honestly, the Saints a little bit of edge, even though they lost. Sean Payton and Dennis Allen is their head coach. But when you have a guy like Pete Carmichael, who has been in that system, been with this team, it's not like they're losing everybody.
Okay,
these guys that are in positions now, they have been with that team for numerous of years. So it's not like they're just going to they're in positions now. They have been with that team for numerous of years. So it's not like they're just going to be decimated and depleted because Sean Payton's no longer there. People didn't forget how to play football. The coaches didn't forget how to coach. It's going to be a little different, but Jameis Winston being healthy and being able to deliver the football down the field with the weapons that he has, I think could be a scary thing if they're hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, and look, people bring up Sean Payton being gone. That is a key. There's no question about it.
Can't minimize
But what
that.
I would say, and you probably don't know this, Harry, because you probably were in high school at the time and really not paying attention to all of the NFL head coaches and whatnot and teams and things of that nature. But Dennis Allen was a decent defensive coordinator before he became a head coach with the Raiders. Mm-hmm. You wasn't going to win with the Raiders and Al Davis and what they was putting together. Nobody was going to win in Oakland with that at that particular time in that stretch when he was the head coach. He didn't have this roster. He didn't have these players. So when you look at it, his second bite at the apple is a different set than it was when he was an Oakland Raiders coach. Totally different. Totally different. That's why I believe, losing Sean Payton certainly going to hurt. But this team is so loaded that you got to be a dang on fool to mess it up.
Well, now I'll tell you, Key, a big miss though, Trevor Penning. And let me tell you why I like Trevor Penning, offensive line wise. That's who they drafted to replace Teron Armstead. When I did my draft evaluations, he was the nastiest, literally the nastiest offensive lineman in the draft. I mean, if you was a defensive player, your head better have been on the swivel because he was going to try to knock you out any and every time. Now, he need to get a little bit better pass blocking, but in the run game, and that will come with the guys that he's going against every day. But losing him to a foot injury, I think it's going to be huge for him. But I think New Orleans will still figure it out some kind of way.
And I think so, Freddie. When you talk about quarterbacks trying to figure it out, and you look at Jameis Winston, and you look at some of the quarterbacks in the NFC.
Sure.
And I've talked about Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a young quarterback who is up and coming. Okay, doesn't have a whole lot around him. There's no question about it. But the one thing that gives me hope and promise with him is he did everything the right way.
All right, then he moves into talking about Justin Fields, the quarterback of the Chicago Bears, as his commentary is talking about the Bears. And then you went into the Saints commentary. So anyway, that's Keyshawn Johnson, relative uncle of Mike Thomas, King Guard Mike, always supporting him, always giving him love, and he'll drop a little jewel on you. Knowing that he knows the inside baseball, because I'm pretty sure Mike talks to him. He communicates with him, and he'll drop a jewel every now and again on him as well. But as you hear, his talking point is that the Saints make it to the Super Bowl. A lot of the commentators are now looking at the Saints as opposed to looking at preseason polls and believing that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or whomever are going to win the NFC. So with that being said, I'd like to say welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightened sport talk from your favorite sports fam. I'm Big Q. I'm in this thing. Much love to the great Saint Tank. Appreciate you guys chiming in on this 9:30 stream coming at you. This one's 5 options Saints should consider with Trevor Penning out. Of course, we know we'll cover a few articles here as we get going in the Coma. So shout out to the fam. Please feel free to hit the like button, fam. Hit the hell out the like button, and please feel free to share the show stream on your social media feed. Doesn't matter if it's Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. It don't matter. Saints groups, it don't matter. Take the Sports Coma with you, baby, and share it with the rest of the Who Dat Nation. Shout out to all of the fam up in this thing. Shout out to you guys. Brother Jerry, shout out to you. Barbara, good to see you, Queen. Linda, shout out to the Queens. Eugene, big ups to you. Who else we got? Tano, what's up, bro? Big ups to you. KB, shout out to you, Queen, as well. Much love. Young City Night Ward, Brute Saint, Brian Pearson, BR Fitted 225, T Dirty. What's happening, baby? Steve Wynn, shout out to you, fam. Brother Clarence is in the building as well. Daniel, what's happening, fam? Normal guy, shout out to you. All right, who else we got? Who that? Dana, what's happening, queen? Shout out to you. Pam and Whammy, all the queens in the building. My dog, shout out to you. All right, Coach Tabs in the building, shout out to you. Good to see you, queen. Much love. All right, who else we got chiming in? St. John Butler, what's up, brother? Good to see you in the chat as well. Cool Money, who that to you? My dog, big ups to your fam. And the rest of the fam in the building, shout out to all y'all, man. Appreciate y'all being in the stream on this one. I think I got everybody. What's up, Randy? Shout out to you, bro. DeWine, what's up, fam? Shout out to you. Good to see you, brother. Chemo, brother. Chemo, how you doing, fam? Much love to you. 504 Codes in the building as well. Who that for life? What's happening, fam? Good to see you, man. Much love. All right, Uncle Paulie's in the building. Good to see you, brother Donovan. Good to see you. Brandon, what's happening, fam? Ryan, how you doing, fam? Sin, what's happening? B-Rock, what's up, baby? Shout out to you as well. And good to see everybody up in this thing. Big ups to you. What's up, brother Sean? Shout out to you, fam. Good to see you as well. Kai, what's up, Kai? My dog Kai's in the building. Troy, what's happening, fam? Shout out to you and all the Who-Dats, man, on this one. So I started the broadcast off with with Keyshawn Johnson from the KJM podcast, whatever you want to call it, off of ESPN. And of course, I thought that was pretty cool for Keyshawn Johnson calling and saying to Who Dat Nation, the Saints are going to the Super Bowl, not to just go and visit. They're gonna go and win that thing. And you got to be not just because I'm a black and gold man that I'm gonna say that. You know, I'm not gonna just say, yeah, man, we got everything. We do have everything it takes to make it to the dance. Even the upsetness that you would need, the chip on your shoulder type thing, you have that as well. You've been provided that as well. You've been provided a runway to take off and land in the Super Bowl. You've been given that. The only other thing is that we have to have the blessing to be able to stay healthy and the mindset to focus on one game at a time. And we should be fine, man. We should be fine. So I think the Saints will surprise a lot of people up in this thing. What's up, JT? Shout out to you, fam. Good to see you. Much love to you, my brother, and the rest of the fam. Yeah, I seen that, Sean. I seen that the Madden Sim had us beating the Kansas City Chiefs up in that thing. You know, I think I played that the other day as we get rolling up in this thing. So let's start it off with this article, fam. Hold on, let me switch screens right quick as we get going in this thing. All right, this is the first one here from my friends at the Saints Wire. 5 replacements Saints should consider with Penning out indefinitely. Of course, their thinking is to go into the free agency market. As you will hear, Saints will need to rush to the open market, with the NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reporting that rookie tackle Penning is out indefinitely with a torn ligament in his foot, grade 3 injury, which will require surgery. He was likely going to push for a starting spot, but looked to be a solid depth while he developed. Now their current backup tackle is Derek Kelly, which Derek Kelly was released. So he's unlikely not going to be that guy. There will be more names available in the coming days, where roster cuts looming. But for now, there are a couple of very intriguing names available for the Saints. And of course, he shares the tweet from Eric Fisher as Ed Werder dropped. If the Cowboys develop interest in Eric Fisher as a potential solution to their offensive tackle issues with Tyron Smith injury, a source former in a number 1 overall pick wants to play this season, but will be selective and has turned down offers from 9 teams thus far. So the former number 1 overall pick makes a ton of sense, but could be an avenue the Saints already explored, as ESPN Ed Werder reported that he's turned down 9 offers. Former Super Bowl champion and 2-time Pro Bowler could push to be a starter for the Saints regardless of injury. Of course, here go another guy. So the first one was Eric Fisher. The second one is Darrell Williams, former Buffalo Bills and Carolina Panther offensive lineman. Darrell Williams is high on the list of possible free agent replacements for Penning. Williams has experience everywhere on the line outside of center. He's played every game for the Buffalo Bills for the last 2 seasons, mostly on the right side of the line. However, Williams would be serviceable depth that could find his way into sticking around the team once Penning comes back. So Darrell Williams right there looking upset that it's snowing. Look very upset. Man, it's snowing around here. And then, of course, Marcus Cannon. Here we go. Marcus Cannon is another veteran who's logged a lot of snaps at right tackle, but has shown positional versatility throughout his career. Cannon is a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots and would likely not be a terrible addition to the locker room worst case scenario. And another one, Jason Peters, old man Peters. The 40-year-old Jason Peters is still looking to be a contributing member of a winning football team. And now the Saints look at one of the best options. Like Fisher, injuries aside, Peters could push to start over a healthy Hurst with a lot of winning football under his belt. A veteran like Peters is always it's good to have on the team. So yeah, solid veteran option there. Kind of old, long in the tooth, but could he really contribute at 40 years of age and be a functional or kind of a short-term option, I guess, with him out? He'd just mostly be a depth piece. But Alex Leatherwood, though not a free agent yet, Leatherwood is openly on the trade block and could be cut by the Raiders very soon. His career has been off to a rocky start, to say the least, but a fresh start could be what he needs to bring out all of the potential that made him a first-round draft pick in 21. He struggled to line up on the right side of the Raiders after starting 26 games at left tackle in college with Alabama. And that's all of the picks right there. If he's struggling, I don't want him here. Alex Leatherwood, kind of a kind of curious option to throw him on the back of the rest of these veterans. So, of course, Dylan Sanders throws out Eric Fisher, Darrell Williams, Marcus Cannon, and Jason Peters, as well as Alex Leatherwood, if possible. Serviceable backups behind said James Hurst. But can I, and like we astutely mentioned this before, is that perhaps at some point we can look at adding and thinking about, switching the lineup. And of course, that could be an option too. As many, you got like if the Saints decide to go with a more, I guess with Hurst, they feeling comfortable about Hurst. They don't feel like they need to lose Hurst or use Hurst, move him around like he should be doing a good job for him. That's what they feel like it. We'll see how he goes. I certainly hope that he does do that, but that's the option right there. As the Saints front five are going to be ready to go for Atlanta. With Hurst being held out, he'll be ready for that game one. And of course, the Saints looking for a steady replacement behind him. And I think definitely they're going through the option of looking in the free agency. And also, if an interesting person gets cut, they can end up claiming them. But my option would be obviously to me and many others, is to just put Ryan Ramczyk there. Put Ramczyk at the left tackle position. Stop screwing around. Put him where he belongs, on Jameis's blind side. You need your best player there. Put his ass over there and move Hurst to the other side. To right tackle, whatever you got to do. And then we'll worry about the right tackle and all of the depth behind it down the line. So that's my call on it. And besides, outside of Trevor Penning, a lot of people felt like Trevor Penning probably would have, within 5 games into the season, or at least by a half point of the regular season, would have eventually taken the job from James Hurst. A lot of people felt like that at the left tackle position, but I don't see the Saints. Perhaps the Saints are talking to these veterans. It would be a smart option for the Saints to look at veteran offensive linemen to come in and back up James Hurst. Most certainly there are some intriguing younger offensive linemen, but it gets kind of rough when you start looking at thing. And here go a list of, according to Sport Track, some of all the tackles that's available. They got up here Nate Solder. I think I mentioned Balaga up there. I don't know if that's right tackle though. You see Eric Fisher there. You see Marcus Cannon up there. You see Darrell Williams up there. And you see others as well, as this is provided by Sport Track that gives you a list of tackles that's currently available in the free agency market as you scroll down. It's a lot of names that's there. Do the Saints see a potential person here? You can see Calico Washington, who the team released. You can see Sage Tater, who's also hurt. So they're on this list as well. So these are the current list. The name is the potential Saints replacement reserve lineman on this list. We will see moving forward with the rest of the season. So that's the call on the replacement options for Penning, being that he'll be done for, I'm looking at about 6 months on that turf toe situation. So real rough, but it's a part of the game. Football, is injuries, all a part of the game, and we'll get them back in time, down the line. So shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like button as we move forward. Okay, next article right here. Dennis Allen prepared for the first cut down day as the Saints head coach. It's from JD over at NewOrleansSaints.com. Cut day isn't a primary reason that the NFL sometimes is chided as being the no fun league, but the cut down day definitely can siphon a chunk of fun off a day. Tuesday officially is the day that the Saints and every other NFL team must trim their training camp roster to 53. The Saints begin the process Sunday, waiving or reaching injury settlement with 7 players. The remaining 74 must be reduced by 21 to reach the regular season limit. This is probably the hardest week of the year, just because I know these guys put into getting themselves ready to be a football player and play in the NFL, whether it's here or somewhere. Dennis Allen said it's important for a lot of guys and it's challenging, and there's a human element to it, but at the end of the day, we've got a great game, but we have a really tough business, and this is a part of the tough business part. And of course, he spoke about this in his press conference today. He says, I think the biggest thing you understand, you have moves that you have to make. It's a part of our league and it's a part of the business of pro football. You have to be able to separate the business and personal. And none of it's personal. It's just a part of the business. Undrafted linebacker, a rookie linebacker, Nephi Sewell is one of the Saints, hoping that beyond Tuesday it will be business as usual for him. Sewell made enough of an impression to take snaps with the first team defense in the days leading up to the preseason finale against the Phone Chargers. I feel pretty good. Just continue to learn from linebackers coach Mike Hodges and defensive assistant coach Jordan Traylor. He said, I feel like it's been a solid preseason going into the OTAs and transitioning into the training camp. I felt more and more comfortable every day. Live games reps definitely help, kind of slows down everything in terms of my head and everything. Sewell said that working with the starters was a confidence boost. It grew. Definitely, it showed that I am making progress, and the coach sees it as well. The ultimate judgment of progress for young Sewell, others will be known Tuesday. It's going to be a tough week because you create bonds with a lot of guys through training camp because it's not easy, said defensive back P.J. Williams, who's entering his 8th season with the franchise and owns the Saints' seniority in the secondary. Then about 30 to 40 people gets released off the team. Is definitely a hard time for a lot of people indeed. And of course, we know tomorrow is the deadline when you'll see the Saints have to get rid of 21 guys to make that cut down. So we'll see that as well. Okay, moving on, fam, to the final article right here with a stacked wide receiver core. New Orleans Saints QB Jameis Winston is learning to adapt. This is coming from Cat Terrell from ESPN. As they say, the Saints quarterback had a routine this summer. They would take turns targeting the middle of 3 small separate squares taped into a net. Sometimes they worked the same drill with a hoop instead, moving around for various distances on the field with the intent of getting the football into a small ring. Quote, I think it's implementing more of that has been good, even though I've got to get better at those targets, said Jameis, who admitted he wasn't routinely winning those competitions over teammates Andy Dalton or Ian Buck. He says the purpose of the drills was to work on accuracy, and Winston had a specific goal. Winston knew he could launch a deep pass easily, but to be a better quarterback for his particular offense, he needed to improve his short and intermediate throws. It was one of the first goals he mentioned publicly when he resigned with the Saints in March, getting better at passes anywhere from beyond the line of scrimmage to 10 yards out was the idea. And this Jameis said this, I think the biggest thing is giving the receivers a ball they can transition with, opposed to giving them a ball that kind of brings them down. The coaches always say, put the ball in front, allowing them to be able to get extra yardage beyond just the throw and the catch, just kind of making it easier for them to get upfield and get yards after the catch. Last year's initial 53-man roster included Ty Montgomery, LaJordan Humphrey, and while Michael Thomas began the season on the physically unable to perform list, the Saints added free agent Jarvis Landry and first-round pick Chris Olave this offseason. They get Thomas, who returned from last year's ankle injury, but is currently nursing a hamstring. All right, you heard Keyshawn Johnson in the interview I just played earlier today, said that he had a little stiffness after the run. He ain't running a while, and he's fine. And of course, the Saints have been kind of throwing out that stuff social media wise too, that they feeling good about Michael Thomas's where he is too. Now, Thomas, who's the 2019 Offensive Player of the Year, can run the deep routes and has excelled running across cross routes and slant. Winston has never gotten to establish the chemistry with Thomas in the game, with their only snaps together while Winston was filling in for an injured Drew Brees in the second half of a 27-13 win over the Niners back in 2020. Winston went 1 for 5 while targeting Thomas that day. He's got a mean out route, said safety Tyrann Mathieu of Winston. Is like real gas when he throws, and it's probably from his baseball days, but it's good to see. He says good to just see him running around. Obviously, he can make every throw. Now, Winston started thinking about his spring while recovering from the ACL tear in his left knee that prematurely ended his 21 season. It took a while for his body to get to the point where it can handle working on the deep ball. The short and immediate throws, the bread and butter for Breeze, were something Winston could handle without overstressing his knee. He says, I have a plan. Every offseason, what I want to work on, and this year, probably because of my knee, I was able to work the intermediate game because I wasn't able to drive the ball down the field as much. I always wanted confident. I always was confident in throwing the ball down the field. I just want to improve on my intermediate accuracy. When Jameis joined the Saints in 2020, from Tampa, he was coming off 3 straight seasons well below the league average for short passes. During those seasons, he threw the lowest percentage of passes under 10 yards of any quarterback with at least 100 attempts, according to the ESPN Stats and Information Research. By 21, he had significantly increased that stat, keeping 67% of his passes to 10 yards or less, compared to 55% in 2019. The sample size was smaller, though with Winston suffering a season-ending knee injury in his 7th game of the season. It's just one example of how Winston was evolving as a quarterback with the Saints. Winston threw only 3 interceptions and 161 attempts for a career-low percentage of 1.9. Now, the Saints coach Ronald Curry said that Winston actually looked at those stats, pointing out that Winston would counter with positive percentage of deep passes thrown, but both agreed that the statistics spoke to the difference between the offense Winston operated in Tampa and the one in New Orleans, which is what we've been saying all along. And then this article pinpoints it as Saints quarterbacks coach Ronald Curry nails it out. It's a difference between what he was doing in Tampa and what he's doing in New Orleans. Let me read that little part again. This is what Ronald Curry said, who is the current Saints quarterbacks coach. He says Winston actually looked at those statistics, pointing out that Winston would counter with positive percentage of deep passes thrown. Both agreed both meaning him and Jameis, agreed that the statistics spoke to the differences between the offense Winston operated in Tampa and New Orleans, and that was Curry and Winston with that thought process. The backs never really got out. He said, hold on. The backs never really got out, Curry said. It was a big protection team, so he never really had to do that. Here, that was a big part of Drew's game. You always had Elvin. You had Darren Sproles. You had Reggie Bush. You had those guys that want to get out the patterns. Their stuff is 5 yards and in. It was like he had to train for one style of play, really his whole life until the last 3 years. And that's what's been working on. That's what he's been working on. And I think he's been doing a great job of it. That's Ronald Curry. Said Winston, this offense, we like to attack teams laterally. Most of my offenses, we were always vertical threats, heavy play action, throw the ball down the field. You see this is Jameis talking here, and he giving you some game on the differences between what he was doing in Tampa and New Orleans, because some people don't seem to catch what was happening. So Winston had 5 seasons of experience by the time he got to New Orleans, but he hadn't run an offense like this, which is what I've been saying. This was actually he said this was actually the first offense that I was in that we played the Canadian concept of football where we're efficient on first and second down. Winston said in March, and I'm grateful that I got a chance to see Drew Brees do that for a year while he was here. And so, as he points that out. Now, when the Saints open against the Falcons, Winston will be 315 days removed from what he called the biggest injury of his life. If he says it will also be the second chance to finally move on from the 2019 version of himself when he led the league in passing with the 5,100 plus yards, the 8.2 yards per throw, and the 30 touchdowns versus 33 interceptions. He pointed out that he didn't get much time to work with the first team offense last summer because he was in the quarterback competition with Taysom Hill, which he had to split reps. I mentioned that as well. That was an observation I said. When you the man and you getting the money, you're the man, you get the bulk of the snaps. And when you do that, when you get that, obviously you're going to improve, especially when you have a talented offense like the Saints. So this is well documented here. He points out that he didn't get much time to work the first team offense because of the competition with Hill. It wasn't no competition. He eviscerated Taysom. who has converted to a tight end this year and spent the offseason recovering from injury. He did miss a significant part of training camp this summer due to a sprained foot. But Winston said he changed and grown even since the injury, noting that while last year was an improvement, he's ready to step back on the field and build off of 2021. This is his verbiage, his words. I'm a different quarterback today than I was my last game with the Saints. I take a lot of pride in trying to and preparing to get better every single year. Knowing everyone's strengths and weaknesses and being more honest about my strengths and weaknesses every practice, every day, I'm evaluating myself to get better. That's Jameis. So that was good information right there. Shout out to Cat Terrell. If y'all want to read, we done went through the whole article because I thought it was a really good article. You can feel free to share her article. You go on ESPN to the Saints section. It's the first article out, and share Cat's article to the rest of the family members. A really good article that pinpointed some key differences schematically when you talk about the differences between Tampa Bay and New Orleans from Jameis Winston perspective. He actually laid it out, and quarterbacks coach Ronald Curry did a good job of kind of saying his piece too. How Jameis talked about always getting vertical as opposed to what the Saints do. He called it Canadian style concept, where you have to be efficient the entire game and not just one down. So that's what the hell you was doing up in Tampa Bay. That's why they could just wing it all over the place. And third down, we got to be efficient. You can throw it all way. You can risk it a biscuit. You can risk it for the biscuit on first and second, but you got to be good on third down. No, man. No. What kind of bitty ball bull you got? Y'all running out there, man. No, man, you got to be efficient on every down if you're in the black and gold building. Now I can understand why them people was losing like that all them years, and why Tom Brady was about to come to blows with Bruce Arians standing up there last year looking like Santa Claus, man. Man, but that was a great article, man, about Jameis Winston and him learning what he's doing as he improving in the system. And listen, like he said when he was actually hurt, that's a great point about him being hurt, that he couldn't work on his deep ball as much because he couldn't put that pressure on that leg. So he started doing the short stuff, the short and intermediate stuff, which he'll build on. And the building on what he did in 2021 is a great floor for Jameis Winston, because all he needs to do is do what he did last year, and you having a deep playoff run. The kid had 14 touchdowns versus 3 interceptions in 7 games. That is massive, because another couple of games he could have had 20 to ratio could have been 20 to 5 or 7 or whatever. 20. It's just ridiculous, but good. I'm glad to see that this year means a lot more to Jameis, as the Saints are fully loaded. This is the most, from an offensive and balance standpoint, this could be the best team the Saints have ever placed on the field. And we've seen some really good ones, but this rendition of the Saints could really be a very special commodity to watch, to be honest with you. So anyway, to do a quick breakdown, we played early the interview by Keyshawn Johnson, his thoughts on the Saints, and he actually said that he believes the Saints will go to the Super Bowl and win it. We also covered the 5 replacements for Penning, reserve capacity, which talked about veteran and also other reserves there. We looked at the free agency list of guys that are available. Perhaps the Saints are looking at that. This is not including potential cut guys that they can claim off of waivers. We also went over Dennis Allen's thoughts on the cuts that he'll have to make, as he has to get down to 53-man roster. He has to get to that limit by Tuesday, which he has to cut about 20 guys to get there. So by tomorrow, you'll know who your 53-man roster is by the end of the day. And of course, we then covered stack wide receiver code, Saints Jameis Winston learning to adapt. Really good information in this one from QB coach Ronald Curry, from Jameis himself, making the parallels between the Saints' efficient system and the risk it for the biscuit system that they will operate with Bruce Arians out in Tampa Bay. And not only that, the 1 year he was with Bruce Arians, but it also was Dirk Cutter. He was there with them, and it was a carousel of nonsense that he had to go through there. So yeah, they don't ever talk about that part of the game when they talk about Jameis Winston not having success in Tampa Bay. That was failure by the ownership and also failure by the coaching staff, because they kept moving guys in there. It's just lousy. Then what Tom Brady did, he had the power to make them stop all this boobery. He gave himself GM powers. They made sure he do that. He changed the offense where he had success, and he did a lot of stuff that only Tom Brady could do, that he had the leverage to do to help them win. But that was that first year. This year, last year, you seen what happened, and this year it's only gonna get worse because of many other factors. So it's gonna be interesting, man, moving forward. We're just gonna keep our eyes on it. So with that being said, fam, it's intriguing and interesting, fam. That's good information. I hope those people who doubt Jameis or don't know the parallels between the Saints system and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers system will learn that there's a big difference between the two, schematically speaking, play-wise, man. Just philosophy-wise. It's not the same system, not even close. All right, so big ups to the fam. Appreciate you. Kai says, how do y'all feel about our tight ends? Should we bring in another key free agent tight end, or do we feel comfortable with the ones we got? I mean, I wouldn't be against bringing in another veteran tight end. Some kind of way you get Nick Vannett out of here. If you can get Vannett out of here, and the Saints will cut him, Q. And I don't think they're going to cut him. They don't want to cut him. That's why they were trying to trade him, because they don't want Impact get that $3 million dead cap hit from his contract. If you release him, you only get 1.3 mil back. You know, and you get the dead cap hit at 3.3. So they'll be better if they would try to trade Vannett. The only other issue is who wants him. He hadn't done anything, you know, and that was one of those stupid contracts that we gave to that guy, which should have been a 1-year deal. As soon as he was released by Denver, the man Peyton gave him a 3-year deal, and I was like, why the hell did you do that? You know, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I'm not against them bringing in a tight end to kind of steady the room. You know, I'm not against that at all. But let's get Vannett out first, and then we'll see what we're working with, you know. All right, big ups to the fam. Good to see y'all as well. Much love to you guys. Shout out. All right. I hear you, Dan. Says, Big Q, I can't wait for the main. Yeah, I got you, bro. I'm with you on that, man. I am with you, bro. I'm definitely with you. I can't wait for the football either. All right. All right. Quavadia says, the woman about to leave Brady, he made it like the time he was retired and was miserable, then he came back. Lorenzo, what's up, fam? Should the Eagles trade offensive tackle Dillon to the Saints? That's interesting. I don't know Dillon's contract situation. And you got to remember, if the Saints trade for Dillon, what's his contract situation? And more than likely, I think, isn't Dillon a starter there? He ain't going to want to sit as a reserve, and that's the issue. Whoever you're looking for, it has to be a guy that's going to be cool as a reserve, because in time, when Penning comes back, he's going to try to fight to claim one of those starting tackle positions, and the Saints will probably be more inclined to let him have it once he's healthy because of his grade as a first-round draft pick. The Saints want to get value for that first-round draft pick. So whoever you're trading for, you got to make sure they're cool with being a temporary reserve or a guy, because really James Hurst is going to be the starter, and whoever you bring in is going to be a guy that sit behind Hurst while Penning is rehabbing. And of course, we know it could be 6 months or so before you see him come back on the squad. But whoever you're getting has to be cool with being a reserve. And if Hurst gets hurt, then he can step into a starter capacity, but only temporary. You see? So does that make sense for a guy like that, for Dillon? See, it's a criteria that you're looking for this backup offensive lineman. They're not looking for a guy to start because they believe Hurst is the guy. Whether I believe that or not, it's not about it's what they see. Me personally, I don't think Hurst should be a left tackle. But whatever dope I ain't gonna say that, but whatever dope they smoking, I don't know what they smoking or what they drinking on, but for whatever reason, they say, yeah, Hurst is a good idea. He can start the whole season for you. I said, okay. How you like his odds against Myles Garrett or the rest of those fantastic guys? Oh, I think he'll do fine. Like, okay, whatever. We'll see. We'll see, and we'll see very quickly. So hopefully he does well. I want him to do well, man, because I don't want to see Jameis getting speared from the blind side because a guy beat him on around the edges. So we'll see. All right, Trey Joseph. What's up? Trey says Ram to left tackle, bro. That's a concept I've been throwing around. Y'all know I've been beating that dead horse. That horse is dead. I done beat that horse so much. I done beat him all the way to China, to the other side of the planet. I done went all the way through the ground and then came out the other end in China. And I beat that dead horse, man. Beating that to death into the chat about Ryan Ramczyk. He needs not to be a right tackle. She's your best lineman. He needs to be at the most dangerous position. So a right-handed quarterback, which is the blind side position, which is the left tackle position. Why is he at right tackle? Why? Nobody's asking those questions, but they pretending like it's going to be fine. It's just cool. It's cool for him to sit over there. And I'm like, okay, we're going to see. All right, so anyway, that's an option, man. I don't think them people not going to do that, man, for whatever reason until I ain't going to even say it, man. All right, JT says, Q, could you check and see who had the success in Tampa offense with those coaches other than Jameis or any other team that they coach? Tampa Bay struggled many years. Remember, the Saints beat Tampa Bay bad when Jameis Winston was there. We would beat them because they were so dysfunctional. Thank you, Tay. No, he says, can anybody come off of waivers and take Hurst's job? I don't know. That's a great question, Tay. No, and I don't know. It depends on who's coming off of waivers. And really, truthfully, honestly, from that perspective, I think the Saints, think that Hurst is good enough to be a left tackle. I really do think that they believe that. They really believe it because they did not even, because Dennis Allen said that before camp started, is that we'll look at all options, meaning that, when he was talking, they was looking at the offensive line and then people asked him how you think such and such will perform, how you perform. And he said, well, we're going to keep the options open. But it was no shifting going on the offensive line. Cesar Ruiz did well at the right guard. Andrews Pete did good at his position. McCoy continued to look good. Ram looked good when he was out there. And Hurst did okay when he was out there. But I don't know if there's any guys that they're going to be cutting that'll be more, that probably coming off that the Saints would look at. Now, we can look at and say that guy's better than Hurst, who's just a reserve offensive lineman. But the Saints view Hurst as a starting offensive lineman. They view him as a starting lineman. They view him as a starting tackle. And must have a very high opinion of him to make him the blind side tackle when you know this man it has slow feet to guard against edge rushers. I don't know. I can't answer that one, my brother. So I just think that's how they feel about it. Thank you, Tano. And as far as JT, he says, could you check and see when we was playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Jameis Winston there, the Saints had great success against Tampa because the organization was dysfunctional. You had the Glazers operating and they were changing coaches every other year, or if it was and they had coordinators that were moving out of it. So they didn't give guys an opportunity to even build a solid offense there. They just was moving them guys in and out of there. And that just was totally opposite than what we were doing. We wasn't doing all that kind of stuff. We had the stability, and that's why we was able to kick them people in their tail the majority of the time, to the point where them people, the fan base hate the Who Dat Nation because we was beating on them. I'm like, what else were we supposed to do? You put your helmet on against my squad, and what were we supposed to do? Give you fair quarter? What you want from us? What you want us to do here? F the Saints, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, listen, bro. Listen, it's true fine. What you wanted my team to do? I mean, what do you want what you want them to do? Would you want them to say, nah, we're going to let you win? Huh? What you want me to do? You line up against me and I whoop on you, and then you get mad at me for whooping you, as opposed to you getting mad at yourself because you're not good enough. Get your ass up and work on being better. Bottom line. You can't get mad because you're in a competitive situation. You're going against another person that's competing and they beat you. You can't get mad. That's crazy talk. That's crazy. That's a back ass, simple, terrible mentality to have. No. You shouldn't have that type of vitriol to the organization or to the family base. What you're supposed to have, instead of having vitriol, you should have admiration, because you should try to mimic and build your squad to be like our squad, because we're dominating you thoroughly. Even when Tom Brady came there and won the Super Bowl, the Saints beat Tom Brady both times in the Super Bowl year. They beat him every time in the last several years that Tom Brady put that helmet on. The Saints went over there, whether it was in the Dome or when we went out there and blanked them in Tampa Bay. We went out there and handled the business. And even in the playoff game, when they got the only victory, it was because the Saints donated the win to them by doing ridiculous stuff. The Saints was beating that team by 11 points in that game? It was either 10 or 11, man. And then all of a sudden, then the Saints start turning the ball over. on a short field, helping Tampa Bay out. And credit to Tampa scoring the touchdowns to make it a game. But they take it from the Saints, but the Saints imploded. They fell apart because you had a dang, well, I'm about to go off on that boy. But the thing is, that's what happened. The Saints the Saints helped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They gave them the game, in other words. They gave them the game. Had they did what they were supposed to do and close, because it was all one-sided until these idiots. So I'm about to go off, boy. But the thing is, the Saints helped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win that game. They helped them. It wasn't like Tampa went in there and took it from the Saints, and the Saints, they just dominated them thusly. No, the Saints turned the ball over 4 times in the game and just totally gave the game up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was absolutely a garbage time affair. It was awful. It was one of the worst playoff performances that I've seen in a long time, besides them 2 stupid Minnesota games that we had to deal with in the playoffs. But yes, yeah. So I mean, yeah, that we've dominated that club. We've dominated them. So stop with the vitriol and start with the admiration. And then once we flatten out Tom Brady this year because they elevating them up there and unjustly putting them up there off a past rep. I mean, I hear you having respect for him, but God damn it, how old are you people? Can't you differentiate between last year and the year before and 10 years ago? He's older. He don't have much of an offensive line in front of him. You got other teams that's in the NFC that's strong at the position, that where they are, that can come for him. The Carolina Panthers have a strong defensive front that can fire off all cylinders and get to him. I know our defense can get to him. And Atlanta, I don't know how strong they is. They might be probably on the back end of that thing. But even to a degree, Atlanta can get around and get to you. So, we'll see how it all goes, man. We don't have to wait long to see what it looks like. I promise you that much. All right. Yeah, I hear you, Randy. Said don't beat the poor horse here. I done pushed them all the way on to the other side of the planet. All right. What's up, B-Mac? Shout out to you, brother. Good to see you, man. What's up, fam? What's up, Dana? Dana says Penning could possibly be out until the end of the season. 6 months is what it's a grade 3 injury, and according to what the doctors are saying on those type of injuries, the grade 3, which requires the surgery, that it takes anywhere between 2 to 6 months to get back healthy. So we don't know how fast of a guy in terms of him being a fast healer or not, but at the end of the day, I would have to say it'll be toward the back end of that, more like 6 months. So that's why they say they hit you with that indefinitely. That's a 6 month thing now. When they say indefinitely, that's 6 months, which definitely ends his season out. And I wouldn't even be worrying about him at this point. We just have to move on and look at the next guy. And finding, and the Saints will do a good move. They're good at finding these backup offensive line. All right. Eugene says talk now. He says talk now upright. Okay, he must be talking to somebody else. I don't know what he's saying. 985 says if we move Ram to left tackle, who's going to help Ruiz on the side? It'll be 2 weak links. Nah, I wouldn't say. Well, listen. No, bro. Listen. If you move Ram, the most important part of the offensive line outside of the blind side tackle is the center position, because of the responsibility what the center have. But if you have a right-handed quarterback, your left tackle is a very important position, because you don't want him getting speared from behind in his blind side. That can mess a quarterback up. It can throw his confidence off. It can cause a lot of bad issues. They have a guy firing around through the blind side, spearing Jameis in the back and driving him into the turf. And he coming off a major injury. That could be very ugly and get very ugly very fast. So 2 positions are really solid for the Saints, the left tackle position and the center position. That's why the thought process is to move Ram to left tackle, because he's your best offensive lineman by far. McCoy is good. And of course, if you say Cesar Ruiz has been playing really good football for the Saints. If you look at what he's been doing in training camp and in preseason, Cesar Ruiz has improved greatly from what we've seen. He's been pretty consistent. Now, does that carry on in a regular season? I don't have a crystal ball on that one, 985 Live, my brother. All we can do is just do, is observe and see what the brother and how he brings it. But Doug Marrone has him has him playing really good. Doug Marrone has him playing some good ball right now. So if you put Hurst and Ruiz on that side, I wouldn't say they're missing. That would be a bad line because Hurst can handle the right tackle position, and being that Jameis is, when he turns to start to look around and go through his progressions, he quite naturally going to look to the right side of the field to see if any pressure is coming from that side as opposed to the blind side. So that's why the thought process is already about moving your best offensive lineman to the blind side. And he played there maybe once or twice since he's been here. And then when he was in college, that was his main position. So you gotta, it's very intriguing to see how they're looking at it, but we'll see how it goes. That's something we've been looking at all off season about what goes on there. And it just so happens with Penning getting hurt, the focus is more so on it now. It's really interesting because we'll feel a lot better putting a reserve like a left tackle like Hurst there who struggles against pass rushers, and then you get a veteran, a guy that probably wasn't here before that you pick up off the street and make him the reserve there, and it'll be some veteran with some years on him that will feel comfortable at the left tackle position. But will it really solve it? We won't know until once the season get going and we get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games into the season to see how the line is doing. And just hopefully we don't incur any more injuries to the offensive tackle position. That's the thing. But if the Saints do, not saying that they will, but they are equipped to handle that, because at any given point they can move Pete to left tackle. Remember, Pete has history playing the left tackle position as well as the right tackle position. So he can play the left tackle position if you need him, if injuries occur. They could shift Hurst inside the guard because, in my opinion, he's a better guard than he is a tackle because of said foot slowness. And remember, it's like Pete playing it. Yeah, Pete used to, when Teron Armstead, who was at your time the best offensive lineman you had, got hurt before Hurst got here, they would slide Andrews Pete out there to cover at that line, that blind side tackle position. He did a good job over there. So, this is stuff that they can consider doing because they do have some sort of versatility. They do. Hurst can play guard and tackle. Pete can play guard and tackle. So the Saints, if they really wanted to get creative, they can kind of resituate things and move guys around. They have familiarity playing in these different roles, and that can help as well. So we don't know what kind of imagination these people are drawing from right now, whether or not they just want to go get a veteran from the thing, or do they want to kind of resituate things. Time will tell, how this looks. We just have to watch and see. All right, so that's my call on it. Thank you, bro. All right, Eugene says Penning's young. There's at least a chance that he's a fast healer, maybe mid-November to early December at the earliest, valuable reps at least in jumbo packages. Okay, thank you, bro. Donnie said, I hate people that think Tampa Bay automatically rules our division as if we haven't been winning our shit since 2017. I know, Donnie. I know. That's just one of the annoying things that we got to deal with as a who that person. You get what I'm saying? Because even though, and then, we got Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcon members that listen to the stream because they like how we get down. They like our family vibe. They respect us and they like us, and they're welcome. As long as, and they're the respectable ones. They don't come with all of the BS, right? But remember we had Falcon Bane. He would pop up here from time to time, and I haven't seen Falcon Bane around, but I'm pretty sure he'll pop up here in the next week or so with a handful of other Atlanta people, which is fine. It's a good little rivalry between us two. It's a respectable thing for most of them. But when you look at these are the two teams that they're picking to win the NFC South because they see Atlanta as a rebuild. Carolina is a questionable team insofar as that they have, what does Baker Mayfield bring with Darnold out? Baker Mayfield was named the starting quarterback. What does he bring to the matrix? Could he solidify the QB position? Because they got targets there. They got really good targets there. I love DJ Moore. I ain't gonna lie to you. When he was at Maryland, he was an excellent player when he was at Maryland. Robbie Anderson is crazy as all outdoors, but he's a hell of a wide receiver. And then they have to find their third guy with Terrence Marshall Jr. Hopefully he can step up for him and do some stuff, not against my black and gold and your black and gold, but hopefully he have success being he's an LSU guy. But there's McCaffrey that's healthy, Chupa Hubbard. They got some interesting. They improved their offensive line. The question for that team is quarterback. Can he galvanize the team and perform to a situation where just be good enough without turning the ball over and doing the boneheaded stuff he did in Cleveland? If he can do that, Carolina could be formidable. They could. And truth be told, based on Tampa Bay's offensive line issues, if they can't get that together and find an answer to the offensive line issues, don't be surprised if Carolina go in there and whip on Tampa Bay too now. Don't be surprised because they can get after you. So like I said, we can't afford to overlook anybody at this juncture of time. You know what I'm saying? We got to pay attention to our cross-town or our cross-divisional foes in the NFC South. So we keeping our eyes wide open, bucking them if we got to make sure that we don't miss a damn thing. All right, fam. Let me keep on going here. All right, Tevin, what's up, fam? Says Pete might be our best option at left tackle. Indeed, bro. That's why I said that the Saints have versatility there. Even, you look at the Saints offensive lineman. Andrews Pete played left tackle, left guard, right tackle. He played every position except for center. So he has experience there, and he played at a high level when he made several Pro Bowls as a guard. The Saints trust him to operate from the blind side. That says a lot. And then look at James Hurst. James Hurst can shift inside. He played left tackle and guard. He can shift inside. And even Ruiz has some type of value. Of course, they're not going to move him, but he can play center and he guard now, but he did play center. So what I'm saying is you can see the Saints have versatility there with the starters where they can move them if they even we ain't going to move McCoy, but McCoy plays center, but he can also play guard. So what I'm saying is those guys they are versatile. You got a good set of versatile offensive linemen that can play in multiple positions, that have experience, that have played multiple positions. That's actually pretty cool to know, as opposed to they just been stationary here all of the time and they would have to learn. No, they got guys that have had a lot of reps at multiple positions, and that can focus you to move them around if you need to, if you felt like you really need to. But that is an option after all. If they had the imagination to use it, they can use it. All right, so shout out. All right, so T-Cell, what's up, T-Cell? Good seeing you, man. Says Tom Brady heart is not in Tampa Bay. He wants out. Don't be shocked if he shows in his play this season. He wants to be in Miami with Peyton. I wonder if Tyreek went to Miami knowing TB maybe going players talk. Well, I mean, I heard about that, and we'll see how it all shakes going down the line. But he fulfilled he fulfilled his promise to Tampa Bay. When he went there, he gave him a Super Bowl. He gave him that. He gave Tampa Bay a Super Bowl. He's accomplished, and I think this probably be one of his toughest years because, he was playing for something last year. He went to take records down, Drew's records, and set those records. And now he has an extra year, 2 years after Drew Brees retired, to put them records way up in the sky. So what does Tom Brady has left to play for? Another championship? He got 7 of them. What more is he left to play for? So yeah, I think he's a competitor, but he can't block for himself and he can't throw the ball to himself. So, we'll see if these people got what it takes, man. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him, man. But yeah, Tom Brady, man, he's an ultimate competitor, but I feel like this is gonna be a tough year on him, man. I really do. People coming for Tom Brady, and he can't exactly get out of the way, So, all right. So anyway, let's keep it going, man. 504 Hot Boy said, I truly believe this year Brady's starts decline. Okay, I got you. Jamal said, I think the Falcons like a piece of toilet paper flushed them down. There you go. Alinda says, Q everybody. He says, Q everybody a Pete lover now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everybody a Pete lover now, right? Yeah, I remember they used to be slamming Pete down and everything. I had to take up for him. It's all right, Linda. We forgive us over here. You know what I'm saying, Queen? All right, Mocha. What's up, Mocha? Mocha says Pete's the best option if Saints wanted at left tackle. He would have been moved. He would have been moved there early offseason. Pending would be of the right tackle. Okay, thank you, Mocha. Shout out to you. Jamal says Brady planned to stay out of the damn house from his wife and kids. Well, he got and listen, Tom Brady quits tomorrow, man. He got a 10-year job waiting on him. He got a 10-year contract with a network as soon as he stopped playing football. So you don't have to stay home with the kids. He going to start doing them games. So Tom Brady already got his life lined up after football. You see what I'm saying? So is he, you know, this is going to be a rough year on that old fella. You know, I'm just going to keep it a buck. All right. Yeah. All right. Tano says blame the NFL 32 players. Key to their team's injured preseason is a money gig. That's why they won't get rid of it. Okay. Yeah, that's all it's ever been about money. All right. Barbara says, I think the reason Brady was gone is he was supposed to be retired and on vacation with his family, not in training camp. Yeah, his wife is mad. Yeah, big mad with him. Yeah. Does she smile when she see the paycheck? Probably not, because them people got it like that, huh? They got more money than what they can use to. Yeah, at some point, that's like what I was saying about Drew Brees. You're like, at one point, did you go home to your children? You're always talking about spending time with the children when you retire. But the first thing you do when you retire is try to get on television and do games for Notre Dame and whatever else. I'm like, dude, what you doing, man? Don't you understand the preciousness of life? You got more money than what you need. Why are you doing that? You know, it's like, you know, it don't make no sense to me, because if something happened to your family, you give all that shit back in a moment just to have them right. So that's what I'm saying. People don't really understand, man. And I'm guilty of that too, to a degree, until I lost my best friend and my baby sister, to make you understand how precious time is and that you ain't granted anything. And if you fortunate enough to have a person that made hundreds of millions of dollars playing a children's game, and you have children and a nice wife and a good family, take your ass home and enjoy the family and kids that you spent all that time again. Stop. See, these guys be doing too much shit. They be doing too much. Go ahead, go home and enjoy your family, man, because nobody granted tomorrow. You're not promised the next 30 years of your life here, man. You're not. So enjoy your family while you got them here. You're not promised nothing. I don't care how rich you are. You know, when it's your time, it's your time. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Thank you, Donnie, for hitting that subscribe button, man. So these guys be tripping me out with how they be handling it. They be money. This is like, it's greed, and they just money obsessed. They money obsessed. Dude, the organization played Drew Brees. The Who Dat Nation gave Drew Brees it had to be well over $200 million since he been a Saint. That, you know, that's, you know, he got various businesses. You got stock investments. You got real estate. What the hell are you doing? Take your ass home. And that's the same thing I tell Tom Brady. What you trying to talk on TV for? You got all this money and you supposed to have all this family. What the hell you doing? You know, that's what I'm saying. They be doing too much. Instead of telling them, take your ass home and go stay with your family. You got these people up here who won't tell these people the truth to their face because they got a little fame on the television, or you know who they are. Tell them people, take your dusty ass home and go spend it with your family, man. That's what you do. You know, so I mean, it's just that, it's like, man, they be taking shit for granted, man. You're taking it for granted. You're not promised tomorrow. And if you're fortunate enough to do that and have that, and you set up the next several generations, line them up straight, got their future set up, man, you done did the most ultimate thing. You did the most positive thing that you could possibly do to not only your current family, but their generations, their sons and daughters, for the next several generations down the line. You've done set them up financially and elevate them to a position. You done your lineage job. So take your ass home and go spend it with your family. But they won't, bro. They won't get it. They don't understand, man. They be doing too much. They get that cross, they get the dollar signs in the eye. We got to get the money. I got to get the money. Like somebody going to come tomorrow, like the three-eyed lizard monster is going to come tomorrow and suck up all the money out their bank accounts. Oh, I got to get it every day. I got to get the money every day. 300 something. We gave this dude over $200 million. You mean to tell me that's not enough? And you got business. I know you're doing right. Take your ass home, man. Tell them all that, man. Stay your ass home. Raheem, what's up, fam? Shout out to you, fam. Much love, man. Jamal says, Big Q, some of them dudes are single with just the dog at home. Bro, you can find something to do, bro. Whether you can be able to, you can include your family in something. You can start a charity, man, and give back to the community. You know how many people could use some help like that right now? You know how many with the school system, with the poor children going on? You know, a lot of them children out there suffering right now, man. You know, imagine what kind of influence. Like, that's why I have so much admiration for guys like Demario Davis and LeBron James, because they put their money where their mouth is. And tell the people running around here talking about doing this for people and doing all that, these guys actually go and do it. They put their money where their mouth is, and they actually do stuff in the community in which they come from. Hell, they even do stuff in communities they don't come from. So, I mean, that's when you do stuff like that, man. And I know the benefit from a tax perspective that you get when you champion a charity, but at the same time, that does not obscure the good works that you are doing to help children and families. Like some of them brothers, like I remember Warwick Dunn, who help single mothers get homes, or some of these people help fund programs that help women who coming out of prison get training, like skills training, so they can be acclimated successfully back into society. That's honorable work. That's honorable work when you can touch somebody live like that and be able to give them just a little oomph that they need to get to where they need to be. Because some people, they just need a little help to get there. Mostly they ain't other people that they just want to, suck up everything you got. No, they got people out there that want to do the work. They just need a little break. You can do that. They can make a lifetime of it. You can include your children. I ain't gonna be getting all up into it, bro, because I just think it's amazing that a lot of these people just so money obsessed, man, and they got all the money in the world and they still out there trying to suck it up. I just don't get it. All right, Tano says the league probably beg time to come back. There will be nothing. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Who knows, bro? Who knows, bro? All right, what's up, KK baby? Shout out to you. All right, Dandra says Ian Book. No, not officially, bro. But I promise you, tomorrow you'll hear words that Ian Book more than likely will get released. That'll be official. You'll hear 20 to 21. I forget. People that will be released tomorrow. You'll hear all that, man. So officially, I definitely firmly believe Ian Book gets released tomorrow, man. I really would be surprised if the Saints keep Ian Book on the roster. I just think that would be a bad look. All right. Yes. Look at KK said Warwick Dunn is still giving houses to single mothers in Atlanta. See, that's an honorable deal, man. That's honorable. That's honorable. That's honorable to do that, man. And that's a big blessing when you help people out, because really people that know, like a Demario Davis, a Cam Jordan, and those guys, they know how they got their money. See, they worked hard as athletes to train and get their money, but you gave them their money. You did. If it wasn't for you and other people like you funding this thing, they wouldn't be rich. They know that. That's why a lot of them understand, man, this is a full circle. In order to exist in a circle, you was given, so you give, and you keep the circle going. That's how the universe works. Only them wretched, funky, dirty billionaires sit up there and dam up the wealth so they don't want nobody else to get it, and then they become a prisoner of the money, and they thinking they become a warden of their money, like they got to sit there and lord over it. So somebody trying to steal their money. They got people that's like that, man. They crazy. They don't understand it. All that helps in a circle, man. It's a circle. You give, you've been given, and then like if you give graciously to somebody, you give, and there is a law of giving and there's a law of receiving. You can't be a great giver and a shitty receiver. You can't, if you give greatly and you're a guy that does great charity, or a girl that gives good charity, you can't be one that's not receiving it. You can't be like, I'm all right. No, you got to allow people to give to you like you give to them, or you be breaking the circle. You be violating. You got to do that, because you'll be violating them trying to bless you for something that you did for somebody else that you wasn't even looking for. That's how it worked. That's how that thing worked. And them guys understand that, man. And that's why they operate like that. And when they do that, they always gonna be wealthy, man. That's their real deal. All right, shout out to the fam. Yeah, but most of the cuts will be coming on tomorrow for the rest of it, the end books and all that kind of stuff, man. They'll be cutting them down because the deadline is tomorrow for Tuesday. So I don't know. I might have a special Sports Coma tomorrow, where it's TSC Q&A live. We might do a live. We're gonna definitely be on TSC Q&A live. I'll leave it up to the family members, whether or not that we can do a full stream, a full platform show for the families. I'll leave it in their hands. They just let me know how they feel. All right, so with that being said, Tramal says facts Q, Walton family on Walmart. That's why people stealing out of there. Well, man, listen, man, what can I tell you, bro? You think the people stupid, you're going to put up a bunch of robots that, it's just, you got a bunch of robots and you got to go out and check out, and you get rid of all the cash register people. You got nothing but self-checkout things, and then 2 people watching 12, 15 checkout machines. What you think going to happen? And then the people astutely know that, if you ain't paying the cashiers, then the groceries should be cheaper because that's an expense that you're not incurring. But they so greedy and so, so against how things are supposed to work that they'll keep the goods going up high while they cutting the human labor, bringing in the computers, and they don't give you a discount on the food. So how you have less people working for you, but the cost of your food still high, huh? And then they turn you into an employee for them, so you check yourself out. You're supposed to be giving some type of discount so people get the discount. It's called the 5-finger discount. That's how that works. But see, you can't shake the people, man. See, these people say that's what I'm saying. They be violating, man. You can't beat the people, man. You can't beat the people. All right. Okay. Yeah, I will, KK. School, what's up, fam? Says Q, the work that you do is extremely impactful as many levels. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. I thank you, man. Appreciate you and love you, brother. Thank you and the fam, man, for the things, man. I just calls it as I see it, bro. With a lot of stuff, man. I give them athletes and entertaining the shots out, man. I really do, because I see what they doing. All right, Eugene said Warwick Dunn was responsible for housing a young Deshaun Watson and his family back in the day. Crazy how paths cross. How about that? That's true. I remember that story. That Warwick Dunn paid for the house for Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson is now in the NFL, one of the richest quarterbacks. Unfortunately, he got caught up with some shenanigans. But at the end of the day, man, you see how your blessings bless other people, man. So yeah, that's a very good story, except for what the current stuff happened. But outside of that, that's very interesting. Donnie says, do y'all have Sorensen getting cut? Yes, we do. I think Sorensen gets released, fam. All right, Keith. What's up, Kev? 504 Uptown checking in. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for popping in. All right. Yeah, I think I would have to say, yeah, 5 fingers to the face. Slap. All right. Yeah, this is cool, man. Yeah, we're gonna have a stream tomorrow, but I'm gonna leave it up to the YouTube family members and the Patreon champions on whether or not it'll be a full stream endeavor. But the cut party does sound interesting. I'm going to leave it in you guys' hands. Y'all tell me how y'all feel. What's up, Tori? Shout out to you, fam. Y'all let me know. All right. So with that being said, fam, listen, I'm going to pop out on that. I appreciate you guys for being here. We spent an hour and some change here, covering some news, notes, and items, keeping it real. And tomorrow is definitely cut day. The Saints chop it down, man, to 53. And, of course, we got a little while before the Atlanta game pop up here. This next weekend, we got the college football stuff popping in with a lot of college football games. LSU's my squad. They'll be playing this weekend. And then the week after that, we'll have the Atlanta matchup. So it'll be fun as well for that. And we'll be looking out for that. So anyway, with that being said, yeah, DeWine says Walmart used to have 20 registers and only 4 open anyway. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. I got you, Pops 3000, man. I've been so with all of my family stuff, bro. I'm gonna get back on it, bro. I'm gonna get back on that on Q with Big Q. I got you, my brother. I'm gonna get back on it. I had a lot of that family stuff happening, kind of threw me off, bro. So I'm just kind of getting resituated here. All right, so just be a little patient with me, brother. I promise I'm gonna get that going. Eugene saw. He said He said, okay, thank you, Eugene. Shout out to you, man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. JT says, Q, you think Merritt makes it? I do, bro. I think Kurt Merritt makes it, bro. I really do. And I think it's because of what he's going to do in the running back room. Now, we seen Abram Smith get cut. But, like I said, do the Saints, it'll be intriguing, man. I don't know. I wrote an article yesterday calling it out, but that's what I thought the Saints were going to do. Now I should have just did one where I thought this would be a better situation. Saints keep 6 wide receivers. They most certainly can keep 6, wide receivers. They really can, especially if Kirk Merritt justifies himself on the active roster. Like, what could he do? He can help in the return game. He can be, he provides depth in the wide receiver room. And even though you have Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, and Chris Olave, you have Deontay Hardy, who's a kick returner, punt returner, Marquez Callaway, who can act as a kick returner, punt returner. And what does Kirk Merritt do outside of playing kick returner, punt returner, a wide receiver in the room? Well, he acts as a running back. He takes on the Ty Montgomery role. And I say Ty Montgomery role because remember the last couple of years, Sean Payton brought Ty Montgomery on, the former running back for the Jets, to come on and operate along with Elvin Kamara, where he had those 2 running backs out of the backfield, where you have Kamara and you have another running back, wide receiver type guy that can block for him and provide another pass catching option for Jameis Winston along with Elvin Kamara. So I was like, yeah, that's why you're seeing them utilize him, because they put him at the kick return game. He had positive success. They seen what he was doing during the preseason and training camp as a wide receiver. They had no questions there. Then they just yanked him and said, we're going to try you at running back. How do you feel about that? And when he started excelling at running back and they realized that he's a good blocker, that's when I say, yeah, I think Kirk Merritt is going to make the team. He's going to make the team because the Saints are going to use him in that Ty Montgomery role. They're going to use him in the time. And remember, when you with Deontay Hardy got banged up last year. It's a tough game when you playing kick return and punt return. I know Callaway is there, but you go several games into the season, one thing you might have a little snafu there where you need to, more than likely might need some help of a wide receiver there. So we know that Kirk Merritt, speaking of Kirk Merritt, I know he'll operate in the running back room too, because that's what they got him doing right now. Because he, to a degree, I think he'll get reps over some of these other running backs not named Elvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, simply because he is the closest thing to an Elvin Kamara in terms of his athleticism and being a wide receiver running back style guy that can come out the backfield along with Kamara when they can set those plays up. You see what I'm saying? So I think he gives them value there. They don't have another back like that outside it. Elvin's an athletic satellite back that moves around, and you give him the ball, he makes things happen. Mark Ingram's more of a north-south runner with some wiggle. Thank you, CS Armstead. Thank you, fam, for your subscribing. You and Donnie, shout out to you. Doughboy 3633, shout out to you as well, fam. And that's what I'm looking at with him. But he is really like very unique. So I can see, like, if you look at the Saints running backs, the ones they potentially keep, Mark Ingram's a north-south running back with some wiggle. Tony Jones Jr. is a north-south running back with some wiggle. And then you look at Dwayne Washington, he just straight a north-south power back. So they're very similar, except some of them a little slicker than others. But when you look at a wide receiver style back that can do similar things that Elvin Kamara does, that's Kirk Merritt. That's why, and that was good imagination by Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen to see that in him and say, you know what, we might have something here with this guy. So based on that, I do think he makes it. I definitely think he makes it. You know, and the Saints might keep 5 linebackers. They might not keep 6 linebackers. But, you know, do you really need 6 linebackers if you're a team that don't really run the 4? And see, this is the thing, defensively speaking, too. The Saints run the modified nickel 95% of the times, and they, and it's going up. Because Dennis Allen used to say that they was thinking about doing the 4-3. Remember, he used to talk about that? He used to talk about that, but man, he don't talk about that no more. So when you seen what happened with Quan Alexander, excuse me, when you see what happened with Quan Alexander, when the Saints said, we want you to be here, but you're going to take a back seat to this guy over here. And he went to the Jets. And I did see that nasty ass hit that he put on that running back. My goodness, boy, Quan Alexander, he knocked the hell out that guy. Did y'all see that? He flattened that guy, man. That was a nasty hit he put on that boy. But anyway, when they said that to Quan and Quan went to the Jets, that let me know the Saints going to be, because they could have appeased Quan by saying, hey, listen, you still have a starting spot. We're going to be running our 4-3 defense, you see? But that just let me know the Saints have more of a commitment to operate out of the modified nickel. And in that case, do you really need 6 linebackers? If you're going to be operating out of the modified nickel, do you really need 6 of them? So in that case, that's just a question to think about. That maybe that'd be an extra slot that they give to the wide receiver, or just if you look at Ian Book's potential spot, his third spot, you don't need some guy standing up there with a clipboard. So yeah, they have the flexibility to move that spot to the wide receiver room. They have to the offensive line, the defensive line, linebacker, or the secondary. They have the option. Tano says before you close, name a surprise cut if we have one. A surprise cut. I guess Kirk Merritt will be my surprise cut because I anticipate him making the team. That's what I say. I think a surprise cut to me would be like that would be Kirk Merritt. That would be the perfect thing. Kirk Merritt would be the perfect thing. You know, the name, if I would be surprised if they got rid of him based on all the positive stuff he's been doing in preseason and training camp. If that's, he did everything that you would need to do to make an NFL team. And if they cut him, that'll be, in my opinion, that'll be wrong because he outplayed guys on the team to make the team, and he should be on the team. That's my call. I throw out another guy too. I would be surprised if the Saints got rid of a guy like John Bostic. You know, a John Bostic or even a Justin Evans. You know, those guys should be makers of the team. They should be on the team. So we'll see how it looks. So I gave you about 3 of them right there, bro. So shout out. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So yeah, Coach Tapp said yes. Q Quine hit that player. Yeah, and he coughed up the ball and everything, man. The ball was flipping and flopping and everything. J Live, what's up, bro? Says New Orleans Saints should never had bet on Pete Warner because he has not shown us that he's durable and can go full 17 game season. What he showed us is that he can't. He's always hurt. Yeah, he's just been here. This is his 2nd year. He missed time last year. He's missed time this year as well. And he's nicked up going into the season. So you're absolutely right. Thank you, Hoodie. He said, seen video of Kashawn talk. Yeah, I did, bro. I played it to start the show off, bro. Thank you for your super chat. Big ups to you. But yeah, J Live. I've Pete Werner is going to be a very good guy, a good linebacker for the Saints. But you know, a lot of people are upset about Quan Alexander going to the Jets, and I was upset too because I thought the cheap contract he signed with the Jets, the Saints could more than afford it. But he made the call, you know, to go somewhere else. And the Saints, to be honest with you, the Saints brought in Eric Wilson and John Bostic, and they haven't skipped a beat. I mean, Eric Wilson, listen, you know, and I know we love Quan, but Eric Wilson has shown us that he can play next to DeMario. He looked really good next to DeMario Davis. He's a fast player, really intelligent. He got that Cam Jordan excitement about him. And Eric Wilson, we got to give Eric Wilson some love, man, because Eric Wilson really stepped up and showed a lot of positive. All the preseason, the camps, Eric Wilson has been stellar, bro. And he stepped in there and he really been handling the business. So Eric Wilson and John Bostic. Now, we might have got rid of Quine, but you gain Eric Wilson and Bostic to your linebacker room, being that Bostic makes the cut. So I think, man, this is just, we have a solid linebacker room if that's indeed the case. Now, of course, they can very well release John Bostic and keep Andrew Dowell and the rest of those guys. You know, who knows? We'll know eventually. So we'll see how it goes, man. So we'll see. All right, yeah, that was a vicious hit by Quan Alexander, though. Yeah. Tevin says, yeah, don't sleep on Eric Wilson. Yeah, Eric Wilson has been awesome, man. Like I said, Eric Wilson has been awesome. Everything Eric Wilson, you know, he's done a lot of positive stuff. I think we just have a love for Quan Alexander. Obviously, he's been here for the last couple of years, but let Eric Wilson. He looks really good next to DeMario Davis, man, and especially with Pete Werner being hurt. We were able to gain 2 sturdy veterans, man, to our linebacker course. So I'm really proud of that, man, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's big. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I like what Eric Wilson's bringing, fam, to be quite honest with you, man. I really do. Eugene says Merritt is a Ty Montgomery 2.0. Hopefully he stays healthier than Ty did. His body betrayed him. Yeah, Ty couldn't stay. yeah, we could never realize Coach Payton's visions of Ty Montgomery, and I can see why he brought him in here, what he wanted him to do. But the Saints are revisiting that, like you said, Ty Montgomery 2.0 with Kirk Merritt. And Kirk Merritt actually going to give you the value. He's a tough guy. He ain't an easy guy to spot up and hit either. He's elusive. He got good speed. He'll run around your ass, burn you up, and catch out the backfield. He also ain't afraid to block. You know, so he's going to, man, he is a, we keep finding these guys, man, the Deontay Hardys, the Kirk Merritts, guys like that, dude. We just keep finding these damn guys, man, and adding them into the offense. And people going to be blown away by the Kamaras and the Mike Thomases and the Chris Olave and the Jarvis Landrys and the Taysom Hills once he gets healthy. But they're going to sleep on guys like Kirk Merritt, who going to also hurt you pretty bad. You know, so it's like you're blown away by the stars, but the guys like Merritt and Harty is cutting you up, and Troutman, who's going to perform good, will be cutting you up underneath. So the Saints are they got a lot of weapons for Jameis Winston, man. That's why Jameis is so excited, man. That's why a lot of Who Dat Nation is excited. Anytime you add Jarvis Landry and Tyrann Mathieu to what the Saints have, you are contenders. And I don't know, and that's why these people not saying that. You take them boys and put them on any other team, they'll be yelling Super Bowl from here to tomorrow. You put them on the Saints, oh, y'all looking all right. I don't think they make the Super Bowl. You got Tyrann Mathieu and Jarvis Landry, two all-pro players sitting up on your team in the wide receiver room with Chris Olave, and they still talking crazy. Oh, I don't think the Saints going to get there. How are they not? And the bigger question is, who the hell going to stop them? Who going to stop them? Only one thing that can stop the Saints. That's the Saints and injury. That's it. Nobody else in the NFL. You better watch out because we coming for you. Bottom line. That's it. Only two people can stop the Saints from getting to the Super Bowl. That's number one, the Saints, and number two, injuries. That's the only thing that can stop. All these other teams, the Saints focus on day-to-day action. They'll hammer the hell out these teams. Bottom line. That's the focus. Do it, have each team per week. We're not looking to, like I said, and I warned the Who Dat Nation, you have a game when you coming up on with Atlanta in the first game of the regular season, and then right over their shoulders is Tampa Bay in the dome. So you bet not get caught up looking over the Falcons' shoulder, appearing at Tampa Bay over their shoulder. See, this will be a big test in week one for the Saints to keep the focus on a week-to-week basis and not listen to these commentators talk about, I can't wait for the Saints to get to Tampa Bay. Now, we ain't doing all that. We going to work. We're going to do it at one game at a time, and that's how we get this thing won. One game at a time. That's what it comes down to. All right, so with that being said, man, shout out to you guys, man. Thank y'all for being in the building with me. Shout out, thank you for your super chats. Hoodie, appreciate you, brother, and Tano and the rest of the fam, appreciate y'all super chats. Shout out to our family members who hit the subscribe button in this thing. Shout out once again to CS Armstead, Donnie, let's see, Doughboy 3633 as well. Shout out to you, Louis Tyner, King Gucci, and the rest of the family members, Chad B, John David Washington, Derek J. Williams 007, and the rest of the fam for hitting that like button. What's up, Trevan? Shout out to you, fam. Godfidence, much love to y'all. Appreciate each and every day. It's one of y'all for being here. Hit the like button if you hadn't hit it. Hit the subscribe button if you hadn't hit it. Hit the share button and share the show on your social media feed with the rest of the family members. It helps out. And also feel free to check out our link tree. That's in the description section below. Has links to several, that's right, several of our pro shops with tons and tons of merch, baby. Hats and all kind of stuff. Shirts, hats, wall art. We got it popping, everything going on in the link tree. We got our websites in there, our socials, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of our socials is in there. The Great Saint Think Tank Facebook group, if you want to join that. And we got 160 plus people in here. All you guys need to be on the Great Saint Think Tank Facebook page. The links are in that link tree, all nice and organized. So go there, hit it up, and it'll take you wherever you need to go. So with that being said, fam, I appreciate you. What's up, Yen? Brother Donald, good to see you. Brother Damien, shout out to you, brother. Did I do a prediction show or no? I didn't. You talking about in terms of the record, picking the Saints record, or the roster. Well, I did one yesterday, brother. You won't check that one out. I wrote an article for the WhoDatDaily.com covering it. So that's in the community section, by the way, for the family members that didn't see that. Feel free to go there to the community section of the page, and you can see the article that I wrote for the WhoDatDaily.com. that covers the projection for the 53-man roster that's had for tomorrow. So we see if we can kind of line that thing up. All right, what's up, James? Shout out to you, fam. All right, Wanted Pickens, you see him. Yeah, he said, my bad, missed you, Q. What's good? Just wanted to say I like Olave, but Wanted Pickens. Yeah, I do. Okay, Damon says, yeah, the record. Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, I've said I'm kind of high and low. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say exactly what it is because it depends on our focus for the season on a game by game basis. But I say the Saints win at least 11 games, and if we focus, I say we can get as many as 15 games, 14, 15 games. So my in between is 11 to 15, because I really do think if they focus and handle their business on a week-to-week basis, there's nobody that can deal with us. Saints have the environment right now that's conducive for a championship. They got a chip on their shoulder because people disrespecting them, talking mess about their stars, Michael Thomas, Elvin Kamara, Jameis Winston. They talking crap about the people. So they got something to prove. So that's number one. The defense is on a whole nother level. They still rising. We got our special teams back with Will Lutz. And it's galvanized by the fact that the Saints have a us against the world mentality, because all of the national media people, the majority of them, keep talking about Tampa Bay is going to beat the Saints. And then we look at the roster, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster is not as stacked as the Saints roster. Even though that's on paper, you can also look at history as a recent indicator of future events. The Saints are not scared of the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are not the same team. They're facing a lot of injuries, which will be the reason that when we beat them, they'll use that, because they've already cultivated that excuse by saying that the Saints should win, but it's based on the fact, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line. Well, their line last year was better than the line they're going to field this year. So what was your excuse last year and the year before that? See, so they like to build narratives. My job is to tear narratives down. So they like to build up narratives. My job is to tear the narratives down. And it ain't hard to tear the narratives down, especially when they're reading off the same script. And I'm pointing them out saying they're reading off the same script. It's hard. It ain't hard to tell. But anyway, that's my call on that, my brother. At least 11 wins. The Saints won 9 games last year and they ain't even have decent quarterback play. We struggled because we didn't even have our kicker last year and lost several games without a kicker. If we had a decent kicker for at least half of that time when Will Lutz was out, we would have had won at least 2 games. If we had a decent quarterback, if we'd have had Andy Dalton last year, the Saints would have been in the playoffs. You know, so like I said, without a quarterback, without our kicking, and having 54 offensive line changes due to C-19 and injuries, and you still won 9 games, that's quite the feat, when most people would have fell the hell apart. Look what Dallas did when they lost Dak Prescott, when his leg got turned that way. Y'all remember that? That team imploded. They imploded because Dak was everything. The Saints still was able to keep it together and win 9 games despite not even having a decent quarterback at the helm. So with the Saints having and the improved depth that they have, I'm looking at least 11 wins. And if they focus and they're fortunate with the injuries, the Saints getting 15 games, no doubt about it. And like I said, the environment is conducive for the Saints' growth because everything's going off. They're already giving it to Tampa Bay, which Tampa will get all the lightning striking. The Saints have no expectations from a national view. The rest of the people not giving them, except for the guys that we played, that like Keyshawn, that's giving them, saying they're going to play there, and it's that third Gen Hale saying that we're going to get there. But then that, from an overall national perspective, the Saints are not considered a contender. So you don't have that pressure that Tampa Bay has. So everything is conducive for you to grow and destroy the NFL. So there it is. With that being said, fam, I'm going to pop out on that. Much love to y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all check out the link tree and check out the merch and join the Great Saint Think Tank Facebook as soon as you can, so we can kind of carry our dialogue outside of YouTube as well. So with that being said, y'all keep y'all heads up. I'm going to holler at the family members tomorrow on Cut Day. Much love to you, and who that?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Daily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform.